I'm Nancy, compulsive eater. I eat 3 weighed and measured meals from the Gray Sheet every day. I commit those meals to my sponsor. I don't eat anything else or in between, no matter what. Abstinence is the most important thing in my life. My abstinence date is January 26th of 2021. And I have had an unusual reaction to food probably my entire life. This is the most normal I will ever be, and I appreciate it one day at a time. I've really learned on the Gray Sheet and in the Gray Sheet community a relationship with food where I am pretty much all the time neutral around it. Um, I used to plan my life around it, getting more, something different, something oily, something greasy, something new, something only made in this city or this country, which was a reason to go there and spend a lot of money I didn't have. Buy clothes that I looked ugly in because I was fatter than anybody could believe, avoiding doctors, and just one bad turn deserved another. I have a very abnormal reaction to foods that some other people seem to be able to eat with nothing happening. It was much worse than I ever dreamed. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, for many years of my life, I just went after understanding and treating the symptom, which for me was the accumulation of fat and all its consequences. Accumulating fat on a young, healthy body, um, in my case, it had social consequences, financial consequences, economic consequences, emotional consequences, certainly, physical consequences for sure. I'm paying that price today. I feel that my out of control relationship with food affected every area in my life. And the very fact that I've been on a daily reprieve from eating myself to death, being unable to reason my way out of it or just physically not do it, that is the fact that a solution has been found and tested by people and offered to people that want to come and try it. I've been privileged to see all those things turn around and largely disappear. And I believe that I cherish this, I treasure this, because for years and years and years, it was like an avalanche that I was just trying to hold off with a toothbrush. Can you imagine? And there's no way I could reason with myself that this was okay, or some people. And I just want to say that I've just been to the United States for 6 weeks, and I have seen the worst consequences of out of control eating, just the worst in a rich, intelligent country. They are impoverished in health, and it, and they're taking all kinds of drugs and going to all kinds of measures to escape the consequences, but not change their eating. And I look at this and I know that there's nothing I could say to almost anybody that would make any difference. Not yet. They haven't hit a critical state where maybe they'll listen. As long as there's one more, that was my case, as long as there was one more thing to try, I wasn't down and beaten. Huh. So in the AA literature, they talk about being beyond human aid. I believe my body went beyond any kind of aid a long, long time ago. And so I suffered as a child. Now I was born so long ago that most children, I mean most, very rarely, 1 out of 200 children was fat. Nobody was fat. I was. And I don't know how people live like that today and buy a bigger size. I don't know how they can even be clothed and go out the door. I would kill myself if I looked like that. And yet, I'd say the third of the country is out of control. And they just make it a lifestyle. I couldn't wait to get back to France and on my meetings, because my meetings suit my time. You know, this is 9 o'clock at night for me. I had to get on this meeting at noon, which wasn't possible. I was in other people's homes. I was on the road. I was traveling. I was not in a place where I could talk, which made this all the more precious. So I have all the qualities of somebody for whom this would work. In the AA Big Book, they talk about husband number 4. He's the worst case. He's the wreck. He's got the best chances to recover because he has no wiggle room. He's run out of reasons and excuses, and therefore he might just qualify to listen to reason and try something. So I would say I ran out of everything. And my first program, thank you so much, Anna. So appreciative. Um, I got roped into it, but I know that was a God shot. In 1983, January, somebody invited me to come and experience Overeaters Anonymous, and the very name of it, just set me off. Like it sounded like pigs in a poke. And I said, "No, I got to get out of this." So, of course, I said yes, intending to get out of it, and totally forgot about it because I was eating all week, giant family size crunchy things. And, my family suffered terribly. My husband was my binge buddy. He must have been ashamed of what I looked like to be seen in daylight with me. I was a mental wreck. When I overdo it on sugar, there's a little high, and then there's suicidal depression and shame, and it's a cycle. And I would eat. I would just arrange my life so that I could eat. Nothing normal about that. I might have lost my chronological thread, but everything I'm saying is important. Everyone around me suffered. I don't know. We lived in France. My son must have been ashamed when his mother came and picked him up at school. I would have been. I would have been. I'm very sensitive to everything. And so something that's beyond that, it's very hard for me to get used to something which is hideous. It's just, a state of affairs, be it politics, religion, or anything. It's just, I'm very sensitive to things that aren't fair, that are really not the way they should be, and health. I was born and built to be a healthy little person, and I am almost 80, and I am probably the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I have a mobility since I got abstinence. I can do all kinds of things that I couldn't do 4 years ago. I couldn't cross one leg over the other. They were too fat. They wouldn't stay. I couldn't go upstairs and I couldn't go downstairs. I couldn't even get off the toilet without pushing myself away from the wall. I couldn't even wash myself. There was too much of myself, and I couldn't reach, some of these places. And that was nothing. There are a lot of people that start the gray sheet way bigger than me, and it's just like a special kind of hell. That's all. And who could you talk to? And the few times I ventured in to help, the doctor said, "You have such a nice face, Mrs. Grayman. Really, you want to do something." And I thought, "Oh, can't talk to you either." Well, here's a bunch of people you really can talk to. The people on the gray sheet have been to hell and back, and they listen and they know and they have an answer, and they'll share that answer. But as I heard once in an AA meeting, if somebody else is not ready, we can't get them ready. But if they're ready, they're going to grab it. And there's 4 of us on the screen tonight that are doing that. Gray sheet's not for everybody, but it's for me. It's been for me and like I heard years ago, if the medicine works, maybe I had the disease. I responded to this. My body, I went through one terrible, terrible withdrawal. I really couldn't think, and all kinds of things happened. My sponsor was very patient. I thought we had the same ID code on every gray sheet meeting. So I'm trying to get on, they're all different. Password said universal password. So I'm typing in universal. Oh, I can't even tell you the things that happened to me. And service, I couldn't trust myself to do anything. I could maybe read the readings. So I did that. This is over 4 years later, and I sponsor people. I am a sponsee. I'll lead this meeting. I'll lead a meeting if it's a serious meeting. I love to be the timer. It took me 6 months to practice off the screen, staying awake enough to say time. And then it took me some time practicing not to say it too loud, too soft, to say it gently, and to say it again if I had to. And that's a nasty job. Some people are afraid to cut people off. Anyway, I found my niche. There's so many things I could say about my new life. I am very mindful, but that won't keep me abstinent. That what keeps me abstinent is what I do, not what I feel and not what I think. It's what I do. So I want to tell you that I went out of my home, out of my comfort zone for 6 weeks. And I took with me, if I wanted to find it, I took it, which is my best knives, the knives I use, two scales, had a little cutting board that if I wanted to have it, I had it with me. I had a number of things with me. I took my notebook that I write my food in and my phone numbers, and that was sacred. And I always had that with me. Um, I stayed in people's houses. I stayed all over the place. I was so weird, and I made sure I didn't say too much. Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Anna. Um, there's no way to explain what we do, and I don't like to put it out for people's inspection and look for their approval. I know by now where I can go safely, and if there's any doubt that I can't get the food I need or eat it when I need to eat it and prepare it the way I need to, I don't go there. It's real simple. I don't go someplace and see what happens. I know where I'm going always. And in the big book, it says, does the alcoholic have any good business, personal, or social reason to be there? I will go someplace if it's justified. I go to support my husband. He's just done an enormous musical event in Michigan that he does every year, and we rented a cottage. And before that, I was in his brother's home with his alcoholic wife, the brother's wife. I was in Portland, Oregon with my son and his wife and his two out of control children. But I was in an Airbnb there for 2 weeks at least. No, three, it was 3 weeks. I had a rental car so I could come and go and depended on nobody. I knew where the grocery stores were. I set up, I can weigh and measure on God knows where, anywhere I have to. And I don't put myself in danger. So during this trip, my husband was the 15th of July. He said, I can't see out of my eye. And come to find out, he had a torn detached retina, which required immediate surgery. And there was the emergency room, and I had my meals with me. In this whole 6 weeks, I was probably the only one that ate right because I always had my meals with me. I was the only one that got fed improperly because if there is junk out there, you can't even find it. I was so pleased that I have this way of life. So I never put myself anywhere where I shouldn't be, but where I had to be and where I should be, I could go. So we have things on our program that replace vegetables. We have proteins that travel well. I just coming back to France, I had to prepare 7 meals, and I did. You know, the whole day before going to the airport, waiting for the plane, the meal, the dinner when they have dinner on the plane, the breakfast and lunch. So I had breakfast today on the plane. I drank their coffee, but the rest was mine. And then I had entire lunch with me because I didn't get home till 6 o'clock at night. And then I had my dinner. And that's really neat to be safe. But the best part of this is that I have a hand in it. I'm a full participant. You know what I mean? And what I put in, I get out. And I know you're going to add to all this with your own experiences. Reading labels, even though I speak English, I was born there. Oh, their food is wild. They seem to sneak sugar into stuff. You wouldn't believe it. And if it says no sugar, there's some kind of sugar in it. You know what I mean? And my sponsor said, we don't look at the calories, we look at the label. And I could certainly say more, but I want to say that I went abstinent. I came back abstinent. My sponsor said, watch out for when you get home. Sometimes the, the satisfaction of getting home, you can lose your focus. So I'm watching, I had my dinner and I'm done. I got on this meeting. It's a different kind of dinner. And I'm with my people, and we're four, but very serious four. I've been watching. And, it's a style, it's a lifestyle I'm getting used to. Of course, there are steps and there are meetings where we have literature, there's service, but I can tell you that, thank you so much, Anna, that 1 minute left. What I've discovered in this program is that everything everything I could never talk about, feelings I could never show, things from my childhood that got buried under treats and too much snack stuff, and where I got off long, long ago. These things, because I'm abstinent, are coming to the surface. They are being talked about and they are going away forever. Shame. I have no regret about the past. It makes me useful now. It was okay, but I don't have a regret about the present. So, eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. I read those labels, I go to meetings. If I can do service in a dependable manner, I will do so. There's the format. I will answer the phone anytime I sponsor people, and I stick with what the gray sheet says. My time is up, and I'm dying to hear from all of you. So I'll just end with no matter what. Thank you.